U.S. government shutdown enters day one, plus new tensions over Trump's Qatar order and Gaza peace plan. The U.S. government has been shut down for 1 day, 3 hours, 4 minutes, and 47 seconds. A partisan standoff tied to funding for healthcare subsidies. Tonight, what a shutdown actually means, how much it's costing, which services keep running, and why President Trump's recent executive order involving Qatar and shifting Gaza diplomacy has regional capitals furious. Good evening, I'm Sajal. The federal government is officially shut down after a deadlock in Congress over short-term funding. Democrats insist on continued subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. Republicans led by President Trump refuse unless certain conditions are met. We begin with what the shutdown looks like on the ground and how it could ripple through the U.S. economy. Then we'll examine a separate but related foreign policy flap after the president issued an executive order tied to Qatar and a new version of a Gaza peace plan that has left several Muslim countries angry. The shutdown, cause and immediate effects. The shutdown stems from a budgetary deadlock between Senate Democrats and the Republican majority allied with President Trump. Democrats say they will not support a short-term spending bill unless it includes funding to continue subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. Protections they argue are essential for lower-income Americans and residents of smaller towns who cannot otherwise afford health care. Republicans and the White House counter that expanding those subsidies is tantamount to embracing a broader, socialized approach to health care, a position they reject. With neither side yielding, funding lapsed, and many federal activities have been paused. Congressional budget analysts estimate the shutdown is costing roughly $400 million per day in lost economic activity. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers have been directly affected. Some are placed on furlough without pay, while others designated as essential continue to work, but may not be paid until the impasse is resolved. What stays open? What closes? Certain federal programs continue. The U.S. Postal Service remains operational, and benefits such as Medicare and Social Security payments are still being issued. Active-duty military personnel, border security, and air traffic control typically remain on duty. But many civilian services are suspended or greatly reduced, from national parks and some museums to large portions of the Department of Education, which has seen up to 90% of its workforce stand down. Grant releases, civil rights investigations in schools and other discretionary functions have been frozen or delayed, creating headaches for school districts, parents relying on child care subsidies, and communities that depend on federal contracts. The politics, blame, and the messaging war. Both parties are trading accusations. Democratic leaders say Republicans and the administration are playing politics with people's livelihoods. House and Senate Republicans argue Democrats are refusing to negotiate because they won't drop their demands on ACA funding. The fight has spilled into the public sphere, including social media, where doctored videos and satirical posts have circulated. The bottom line, neither side appears ready to compromise, and past shutdowns have shown these standoffs can last days, sometimes weeks. Trump's executive order on Qatar, on a separate front. The White House has announced an executive order promising security assurances to Qatar, including potential diplomatic, economic, and, if necessary, military measures in the event of an attack on Qatari territory or critical infrastructure. The order comes after an Israeli strike that reportedly killed Qatari officials, and a high-stakes diplomatic dispute involving Israel, Qatar, and other regional actors. The administration's move has been framed as a guarantee of Qatari security and a pledge to coordinate contingency planning with Qatari authorities. But it has also provoked questions about credibility and consistency. Critics say the United States has at times signaled support for Israeli operations and at other times pursues a mediating role. And the mixed messages are sowing distrust among Arab and Muslim partners. The Gaza peace plan controversy, complicating matters further. A U.S.-led Gaza peace proposal, widely reported as a 20-point plan, has been revised, and Arab and Muslim capitals say the updated text favors Israeli positions. Several countries, including Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey, are reportedly furious over changes made to the plan's wording and scope after initial discussions. Delegations say they were neither consulted nor given time to review the alterations before the White House publicized the revised draft. That has led to accusations of deception and has undercut the credibility of the administration's outreach to regional partners. Some diplomatic sources describe the latest version as shifting from a framework that would pull Israeli forces back to agreed lines, enabling hostage releases and a stabilization force, to one that allows Israeli forces to remain across larger parts of Gaza. Those changes have deepened regional skepticism. Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and a wider geopolitical game. The dispute also raises strategic questions about the roles of Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and, behind them, China. Pakistan has publicly offered to contribute troops to a multinational stabilization force, and a recent Saudi-Pakistan agreement has been widely reported. But analysts and critics in the Pakistani public are asking who would fund and command such deployments and what they would be asked to do. Would Pakistani forces be deployed alongside Israeli forces? If so, against whom would they be expected to fight? These are geopolitical puzzles with high stakes and unclear answers. Some observers see China as an influential backer behind certain regional alignments, raising the prospect that Pakistan and other actors are acting as proxies in a larger great power game. So, domestically, a funding deadlock has frozen many federal activities and is imposing an immediate economic toll. Internationally, a series of White House moves, an executive order on Qatar, and revisions to a Gaza peace plan have left several Arab and Muslim states feeling misled, raising fresh diplomatic tensions in an already combustible region. As the funding standoff and regional disputes evolve, Washington's partners are watching closely and asking whether U.S. commitments can be trusted. I'm Sajal. Coming up next, an explainer on what a prolonged shutdown could mean for federal contractors and for benefits that many Americans depend on. Stay with us.